There have been some epic showdowns in the history of our world. Coke versus Pepsi, Xbox versus PlayStation, David versus Goliath. But one of the Titanic battles that has everyone in the finance and tech worlds captivated is that of Charles Schwab versus RobinHood. Who's going to come out on top in the battle for stockbroker supremacy? Find out next on BTP Fusion. You're watching BTP Fusion. Welcome. If this is your first time joining us, I'm your host, Derek West. On BTP Fusion, we break down the complexities in business, tech, and personal finance. And we distill it for you, the YouTube viewer, to take action and succeed. If at any time you get value out of what I say, smash that like button so we can reach more of our tribe and grow together on our journey to financial success. But Charles Schwab versus RobinHood, the Titanic battle of the century. Beginning with Charles Schwab. Charles Schwab, traded on the New York Stock Exchange as SCHW, link in the description, is a bank and stock brokerage firm based out of San Francisco, California. It was founded in 1971 by Charles R. Schwab, ironically, and ranks number 13 on the list of largest banks in the United States. Here's some stats on how many stacks Charles Schwab pulls in. Revenues as of 2018, $10.132 billion. Operating income, also as of 2018, $4.562 billion. Net income, $3.29 billion. Total assets under management, $296.482 billion. Total equity, $20.67 billion. It could be said that Charles Schwab Co. Incorporated is the largest discount stockbroker in the United States and the largest provider of online brokerage services. So what exactly are the services that Charles Schwab delivers to you and me, the average Joe on the street? The company offers an electronic trading platform that allows customers to trade financial assets. Assets such as common stocks, preferred stocks. Before your eyes glaze over, see my video on the stock market for dummies to get an idea of what those are exactly. They also trade futures contracts, exchange-traded funds, options, mutual funds, and fixed income investments. Other services that they provide include margin lending, which is essentially lending money to traders to trade financial instruments. They also offer cash management services, banking essentially, as well as services through registered investment advisors. Charles Schwab, the man behind the company, was an innovator when it came to providing investment services at cut-rate prices. Taking advantage of deregulation that occurred in the 1970s, it allowed for individual firms to determine their own commission rates instead of the traditional Wall Street firms such as Merrill Lynch. Charles Schwab was able to offer the ability to place an order 24 hours a day, and they took advantage of technological shifts in their trading platform that allowed their systems to process huge volumes of transactions and orders. At this time, the company also invested in lavish branch offices around the country that really brought the power and prestige of Wall Street to Main Street in much of the United States. Now, there are a lot of interesting points in the history of Charles Schwab, and I could give you the entire rundown. But to help keep this video from getting too long and to help you keep engaged, I'm just going to stick with the high level. Aren't I magnanimous? Like and subscribe. In a nutshell though, Charles Schwab essentially disrupted the big Wall Street firms back in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. Moving forward in time, various competitors popped up throughout the 90s and 2000s, from E-Trade to Ameritrade to Fidelity, and throughout that time, Schwab remained the king of the hill for discount trading and always remained competitive. But then in comes the young, ambitious upstart, looking to disrupt Schwab in the way Schwab had once disrupted Wall Street. Enter RobinHood. Founded by Vladimir Tenix and Bayou Bat. I'm probably butchering that name. Forgive me. Vladimir and Bayou took the skills that they had acquired from developing high-frequency trading platforms for financial institutions in New York City to their own company in RobinHood, and soon it was turning heads. Their app contained features such as free stock and cryptocurrency trades, popular with a millennial audience, vaulting them to a user base well past 10 million as of this posting. Their company runs a little leaner than Charles Schwab with just 908 employees as of 2019. 80% of the firm's customers are millennial, and the average age was about 26 years old. As of 2018, RobinHood's valuation stood at $5.6 billion. Even with all of that, they have had their fair share of adversity, particularly through their first couple of years of existence, and as a result, they have learned a couple of big lessons along the way. Early in 2019, they tried to offer insane savings rates for their users at 3% annually. That rate beat the highest savings rate offered by most licensed banks. The highest rate at the time, I believe, was about 2.36%. Now, they initially claimed that those accounts would be SIPC insured. And if you don't already know, the SIPC stands for Securities Investor Protection Corporation. Shame on you. And it is a federally mandated, non-profit, member-funded United States chartered corporation created under the Securities Investors Protection Act, or SIPA, of 1970. The purpose of this corporation is to expedite the recovery and return of missing customer cash and assets during the liquidation of a failed investment firm. With that little background in mind, the SIPC fired back immediately at their claim, stating that it was categorically false. Customer accounts would not be protected by the SIPC. Honestly, that makes sense, as the SIPC's charter doesn't necessarily give that mandate. In any case, the waitlist for that feature was unceremoniously removed from their app. A new cash management feature was announced in October of 2019 with FIDC insurance from various partner banks, with an annual 2.05% interest rate, which was eventually lowered to 1.8% after a federal rate cut. And again, for the uninitiated, the FIDC is the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, created in 1933, and it's a United States government corporation whose job is to insure deposits against bank failures. Other controversies in Robinhood's young life include payments for order flow, which is a controversial but legal revenue stream in which market makers, i.e., dealers and security exchanges, are willing to pay a broker, such as Robinhood, for the right to transact with that broker's clients because they believe those clients will be essentially uninformed or selling under duress, thus allowing the market makers to minimize risk of loss during the trade. Robinhood, of course, has a statement up on its website defending the practice. And of course, how could we forget the infinite money cheat, which allows users to exploit a glitch in Robinhood's platform that allowed for gold users to essentially borrow unlimited funds. That loophole was closed with the quickness quite soon afterwards, and accounts that exploited it were summarily suspended. Not necessarily a controversy, but rather a criticism of Robinhood's customers. The criticism is that Robinhood's customers are essentially broke. Analysts of Robinhood's account holders, researched by CNBC, indicated that the average account balance in Robinhood is somewhere between $1,000 to $5,000, compared to other firms such as Charles Schwab, the big dog on the block, whose average account holder, who has about $200,000 under management on Charles Schwab's app. That said, a retort to that criticism would be that Robinhood and some of these other investment apps are really targeting millennials, who heretofore have been known to pinch a penny or two, and for the last couple of years didn't really have good jobs and were drowning in student loan debt. You really can't blame them for having small accounts. As they get older, get and hold better jobs, and make more money, the experience they have trading small amounts now will pay off in spades in the future. And that is really Robinhood's play. They are counting on their customers to grow with them, and thus they will have more money under management. So in this titanic battle for the mind share of today's investors, which one comes out on top? The answer may surprise you. Charles Schwab and Robinhood kind of target different audiences, and they each have different strengths and weaknesses. Let's look at the things that are similar between them. Both do not require a minimum deposit to get started. Both offer zero commissions on US stocks and ETFs. Both have a large selection of commission-free ETFs, with Schwab offering 2,000 plus across asset classes, and Robinhood offering all US-listed ETFs commission-free. Both have zero maintenance fees. Both have popular functional mobile apps and desktop applications. Both essentially have no inactivity fee. All that being said, however, Charles Schwab is actually more feature-rich. Charles Schwab is an actual licensed US bank, so you can put your money in a checking or savings account through them. Charles Schwab also offers futures trading and options trading. Charles Schwab has branch locations if you want to go in and talk to somebody about investment strategy or making trades. And in addition to that, they also offer seminars and have a robust online community, if that sort of thing is important to you. Both firms offer broker-assisted trades at a price, with Charles Schwab coming in at slightly pricier at $25 compared to just $10 for Robinhood. Presumably, the brokers for Robinhood are millennials with little real-world experience, whereas the Charles Schwab guy is a seasoned, grizzled Wall Street vet. Now, the truth be told, you couldn't go wrong with either of them as your engine of trade execution. If you're looking to get into more exotic financial instruments, then Robinhood might not be the thing for you. But if you're just looking to execute some trades and diversify your portfolio, then Charles Schwab or Robinhood would work fine for your use case. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, as we come up with 3 new videos every week. And in addition to that, click that notification bell so that you know exactly when we drop the next great video. Stay frosty, everybody. We'll catch you next time.